Have you ever sat down to play a game of Monopoly and you absolutely end up angry at everyone around you? James Dobson, a psychologist, tells a story of how his grandmother taught him to learn to play the game Monopoly. And he tells his story when he was a young child. His grandmother would sit him down, they'd play this game. And every time they play, he pretty much ended up losing. And she would look at him and she'd say, "One day you'll learn to play the game." And you know, James is a beginner player. He would try and hoard all the money, right? He knew he was gonna have to pay rent, so he was trying to hold on to it, right? But his grandmother knew the name of the game was to acquire, to accumulate. So she would buy all the properties, get all the houses, get the hotels. And so every time he landed, he'd have to pay so much more. And every time he'd lose, she'd look at him and say, "One day you'll learn to play the game." And so one day James decided enough is enough. Like, I gotta learn to play this game. And so one summer he sat down with the neighborhood kids and he was playing and he was practicing and he was learning to play the game. He learned that he had to purchase everything. He had to acquire, he had to accumulate as much as possible. And so he sat his grandmother down at the end of that summer and he said, "Let's play." So they sat down, they played the board, and slowly but surely, he relentlessly beat his grandmother. He watched her give up every single last dollar in utter defeat. And in that moment, in that joy and pride, he said, "Ha, I won." And she congratulated him and said, "You won, but I have one last lesson to teach you." She said, "Now, it all goes back in the box." And he said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, all the stuff that you just got hussy and fussy about, all the money and the properties and all the things that you felt you were collecting in this game, it all just goes back in the box." He said, "See, the game of Monopoly was here before you and the game of Monopoly will be here after you." And he said, "Okay, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, in life, it's quite similar. We all end up back in the box." And while that sounds a little morbid, a lot of us get all fussy about the toys and the money and the technology and the new iPhones and iPads and cars and houses and things that we want to collect in this life. She reminded James, said, "It's not so much about the things that you collected during the game, but it's about the people that you played the game with. The impact that you had on the relationships. That is what we take with us."